It feels more that you're going to be moving next year. This year feels like it's going to be very, very slow. So it's not that you can't move this year, but it would be the normal struggle. You'd have to work hard at finding somebody connected to the real estate, finding something new. You might be moving out of state, and in that situation, it's going to slow you down.
Out of state, like where?
It has a very strong feel towards warm weather, so it'd be Florida. Texas has a good connection for you. California has a little bit, but more Florida and Texas, more in those areas. Also, if you move next year, and again, you know, free will, your natural path, if you don't make any changes, would be to move next year. But it's a free will choice. Then everything would fall into place. You'd find the right people, the right amount of money, the right place. So if you were looking for a new place, everything would just fall exactly in order. So you wouldn't have to have a struggle. You wouldn't look at it as, I have to move in 3 months and now I'm stuck, I can't find anywhere. So everything would be just smooth and flowing, but automatically, without you making a change, it would be next year.
Okay, great. Now, who would go to you for a reading on with the runes?
As an example, most of my clients are business people, corporations, companies. I've dealt with people in the military, personal readings, individual readings, because I find that when I'm dealing with companies, they come to me because I have a very high level of expertise in details. You know, I love details. I like to know when, where, why, how, because I feel the more information you have, the better you can make your own decisions.
Absolutely. I tell people that all the time when they come to me for reading. I said, the more detailed your questions are, the better your reading is going to be.
Exactly. And I find that then they refer me to other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, they ask varied questions depending on the situation. You know, companies will ask questions along the line of who to hire, how their company is going to go, what direction to take it in. Employees will ask how to do better with their employers so that they have their job and that they're needed. You know. And also, they call me up for different things besides the readings. They also call me up as a speaker. So that I can go and speak on how to be more successful in whatever their field happens to be.
Excellent. So, well, I know you have a website. We'll get to that in a little bit. Now, in terms of your psychic gifts, how did you come into finding out? See, we've had a lot of psychics on the show.
Oh, I'm sure.
And, you know, that's kind of like my specialty, because my gift came out, as most of my viewers know, many years ago when I was healed of MS, and it just, boom, it became like an explosion.
Fantastic.
It was an amazing thing. I didn't believe in psychics. I didn't believe in psychic phenomenon. And all of a sudden, I knew things that there's no way that I could know. How did you discover your gifts, and how did you become involved in psychic phenomenon?
Well, I've always been psychic, and, you know, I'm from Europe, so it's a little bit more open at that time.
Right.
And then when I came over here, I just continued. So I've always been psychic, as was my father.
Really?
Both my grandparents on my mother's side, and both my sons. In fact, my mother doesn't do anything on the psychic level, but she's very good at herbs. And
Herbs are very
my husband
important.
actually happens to be psychic, so it worked out very well.
Yes, we are.
And with my oldest son, as an example, because it does make it a little bit different in your family.
Yes.
When my oldest son, Rick, was in the military, he was in the Navy, and he was in the Mediterranean on a ship, and I was really, really focused on having him call me, not thinking about the fact that they can't call from a ship.
Right, you can't call from a ship. No.
So after a while, he called from port, and he was really upset because he said, you know, I really heard you, and I was so focused. He thought that there was a problem.
You were sending him a message
to
call me, please.
Exactly. And I couldn't understand why he didn't call, because I'm not thinking Mediterranean.
Right.
And he was really upset because it was so intense. He really thought there was an emergency or that there was a problem. Yeah. So he said to me, he says, you know, since there isn't a problem, he said, next time, he says, just send once and leave it alone.
So and he's psychic. He picked up
definitely.
Your psychic ability. So your whole family is psychic.
No, it's very tuned in. And then with my youngest son, Rob, if I really, really focus on him wanting to get in touch with me for some reason, or I really want to talk to him for some reason, he usually calls either immediately, or the longest it's taken him is 2 days because he couldn't get to the phone.
Can an animal be psychic? Because when my father passed away, I feel that he sent me a singing message throughout the house. Give a dog a bone, this old man comes rolling home. And then the story about getting Fluffy is amazing. I don't know if the cameras can focus on Fluffy, but he's on my lap sleeping. Some people think that he's a toy because he just lays there so quietly. He's completely asleep. But can we do a reading on Fluffy on the ruins? Can you do a reading on an animal?
I find with animals they're extremely, extremely intuitively psychic, partly...
Oh, he's amazing. If I'm sick,
partly because it's an instinct.
He's sick. If I'm happy,
definitely.
he's happy. If I'm sad, he's sad. It's like he's an extension of me. I try so hard to hide my feelings from him. To no avail, he picks them right up.
I find that people that are intuitive and psychic tend to be very tuned into pets anyway, you know.
Yeah.
And I find that if Fluffy didn't feel too well and looked exactly the same way laying there, you would just know.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
Can we,
Yes,
I'd like to ask the question,
of course.
that was it my father who sent him to me? Because I got him in a very strange way. I got him through a friend bringing me over to this pet shop. The friend had 30 seconds running to medical school before he showed me the pet. Fluffy fell right into me. I said, this is my dog. Left the store. All my friends were discouraging me. They said, he's going to make a wreck of your house, which they do anyway, but they're worth it. And then I met this woman, did some work with her, and she starts talking about this dog, and I didn't know her. She didn't know me. She didn't know about the dog. And she said, oh, did you see that beautiful little white dog in Arcadia Pet? And I said, how do you know about that dog? She says, well, I'm going to buy him for my grandson this weekend. I said, oh, no, you're not. I put a deposit down on him. I lied because I wanted my dog. And I ran over there and I got him. So I'd like to ask the question if my dad was the one who sent him to me, because I feel that he did through a song.
So what you would do is just turn 4 over one at a time. So you'd place the first one over here.
That one?
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
And that one
just turn it over,
far
please.
away.
Thank you. This one?
Yes. You knew just which one next to it.
One over here.
That one.
This one?
It's all the far ones.
There you go.
Yeah.
You just move this over towards you.
Okay.
And one more over here.
This one. Whoops. Oops. The camera's got it. Okay. Is it my dad?
Okay. And I always combine the runes with direct psychic information.
Good.
Okay, because, you know, all tools are a trigger.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, I feel that it was definitely from him.
Oh, yeah.
But he also wanted to do it for 2 reasons. One is he wanted you to know that he's thinking of you, but he wanted you to have a companion.
Yeah,
you know, he really
did.
felt that at that particular time, if you look back at your life, you'll notice at that particular time, you really needed someone or a pet in your life that you can hug and cuddle and give without anybody saying, you know, I don't feel like doing this today.
Right. You're
you know,
smothering
or you're
me.
not right. Or I don't want to do what you want to do.
Right.
You know, it's totally
unconditional love.
Exactly. It's
See,
totally
because I
unconditional.
really missed him. I was heartbroken, and you know, it was a rough time. So you know, Fluffy filled a
And
great
I feel
void.
with Fluffy, you'll notice that anytime you're emotionally down, or you just feel like you're having a day where it's a little bit off, Fluffy will go right to you. It's like you're. It's funny. It's like seeing your father kind of pushing him a little towards you
that's what
on
it
those
feels
days.
like. I know. And
But it's a very strong connection. Also with your father, I get a feeling that he has kind of a warped sense of humor. I'm sorry.
You know, he does.
So
he
it's
does.
kind of like he'll be very serious,
Yes.
and he'll think it's funny that everybody else didn't catch it.
Yeah, well, my mother watches the show a lot. So when she sees this, she'll go, oh, does he ever? My father used to take my sister and I and put us on top of the refrigerator when we were kids. I mean, you know, it was funny. We liked it. We thought it was great. And my mother would be cooking and saying, take them down. And we were like, no, we like it up here. We felt like we were having this, you know, fun
Great
playground.
experience.
Yeah, and when you say warped sense of humor, he was like a jokester. Like he would have a very serious businessman, But in his office, he'd have all these like toys. Like he had like this clock that was a choo-choo train that every hour it played, you know, a choo-choo going.
Oh, that's funny.
So he, you know, he's like a little bit of a character. Yes, you picked.
He feels very warm to me.
Yeah, he was a warm person.
Also, what I felt with him was he was much smarter than he let on, because he felt that everybody doesn't need to know what his level of intellect is so that they don't maneuver as much.